For step 2 of our Martin Luther King Jr. drawing, we will be coloring him in and adding a background. For coloring his skin, you can use any drawing material you have. You can use colored pencils, you can use paints, watercolor paints, oil pastels, anything you have. I'm going to be using colored pencils to fill in his skin. When I'm using my colored pencils, I want to use the side of the tip of the pencil. I don't want to go straight up and down because then I will see lots of lines. I want to hold it at an angle and start coloring with the side of my pencil. I'm going to try to go lightly at first just so I can really blend everything together. If I push too hard with my pencil, I'm going to start to see those lines show up, and I don't want to see any pencil lines. You're going to color his entire face, but when you get to the spots that have shadow drawn on them from last week's lesson, you're going to add a little bit of a more dark value with your pencil. So you can see I darkened some shadows on this side of the face over here. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and just where I drew those shadows last time, I'm just going to push a little bit harder with my pencil. I'm using the same brown color all throughout the entire face, but I'm just pushing darker to create shadows and going a little bit lighter to create some highlights. So I know there was a shadow above the eyelid, so I'm going to darken that. And then on both sides of the nose, I'm going to make it a bit darker than the center of the nose. I'm going to fade from dark to light, and the center of the nose, there's going to be the lightest value. So I'm going to be adding some brown, and then when I get to the center, I'm going to get lighter and lighter, and then same thing on this side. I'm going to add brown, and I'm going to get lighter and lighter as I reach the center. That's going to create a highlight on the center of the nose. You might even want to leave the center of the nose with a thin line of white, just to make it look like there is some nice light shining right on his nose. And then just blend out the sides a little bit. You're going to add a little bit of darkness on the bottom of the nose too, so you want to just push a little bit harder with your pencil to create some nice shadows down here. And then any place that you see a shadow on somebody's face, that is where you're going to push a little bit harder with your marker or your pencil or whatever you're using. I know that the very tip of the nose is going to have a little bit of white because that is the closest part to us, so it's going to be the lightest part of his face. Right here, you're going to leave that little section with a little bit of white. And that makes it look also more three-dimensional. And if I draw a dark value like this, but it is really noticeable on your paper, you just want to blend that out. So I would just go a little bit lighter right above it and kind of blend that in. Most color pencils, it doesn't work to blend with your finger, so you have to try to blend just with your eye, just by looking at it and getting dark to light. Sometimes if you go in circular motions, that helps to blend out your color when you draw in circular motions. And notice I'm still holding my pencil at a tilt, not straight up and down, holding it at a tilt to make sure that I don't make any lines in my drawing. And if I do make some lines, like a couple up here, I'm just going to go back in and just blend those out with some circular motions. Remember that the upper lip is always darker than the bottom lip, so I'm going to really darken that upper lip. I'm going to make sure I push harder with my pencil for that. And then for the bottom lip, I'm going to color it in, but a little bit lighter. So I'm going to give it a nice base of white, but then actually in the edges, so in both corners, I'm going to darken both corners and blend those or fade them into the lips. That's going to give my lips a nice round effect. It's going to make them look more three-dimensional by drawing the edges dark and keeping the center kind of light. So I'm going to really darken those edges and fade that from dark to light. Remember, to make something look 3D through shading, you want the edges or the corners to be darker and the center to be lighter, like a round ball. That makes it look more three-dimensional. And now you can see his lips are starting to pop. You can also do that on the edges here. Make these corners even darker. I'm also gonna just draw a little shadow underneath the lip to make it really stand out, and then kind of blend that into the rest of the face. If I did not add these shadows, my paper would look very flat and the drawing would not be as realistic. So that's why I'm really trying my best to show you guys how shadows really improve your artwork. Once your entire face is filled in, you're just going to go over and look at any parts that might need some improvements or might need some more shadows. So I'm just going to make sure I darken the corners of my eyelids a bit to make my eyes and my eyelids look a little bit more round. And I'm going to keep the center of that eyelid a little white. And then I also went ahead and I darkened the edges of the entire face just to make the face look a little bit more round. So go ahead and just darken all the edges of the face, but make sure you blend that out. So you don't want any pencil lines to be really standing out. You want to just blend that into your whole picture. I darkened inside the ears to make shadows inside the ears. I darkened around the nostrils to make the nose stand out. You can give a little shadow underneath the eye. And any other place that you feel needs a shadow. So you can look in the mirror, you can Google a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. and look at his face, study your own face, whatever helps you, you can do to figure out where shadows go on a face and where you should add a darker value. I would also just go in, and if you see any pencil lines that are really noticeable, just try your best to blend them together by doing circular motions like this with your pencil. So I finished coloring my entire picture. I added the black for the suit and I made sure that there was a shadow underneath the collar right here. So I used the same black, but I just pressed a little bit darker so I could separate these two and it would look like the shirt is folded over. So when you do the shoulders, I would push a little bit darker, and when you do this collar of the suit, I would just push very lightly with your black marker or your black pencil. So now it's time for the background. I want you guys to get creative with this, so it doesn't have to look just like mine. You can be creative with the color and the designs, but you're going to incorporate some words into your background. So I am going to write the phrase, "I have a dream," above Martin Luther King's head. Martin Luther King is known for those words, "I have a dream." But instead of creating his dream in the background, I want you to write all of your dreams for the future. So you're going to write, "I have a dream," in your best handwriting above his head. It can be in a stylistic handwriting, it could be in graffiti lettering, it can be however you want. So I'm going to just draft it with a pencil. I'm going to do kind of like cursive or stylistic handwriting. So I'm going to write, I have a dream. And I'm going to write this in pencil at first. That way I can fix any mistakes if I have any. All right, and then I'm just going to go over that with a marker once I like the way it looks. So you don't have to make yours look just like mine. All right, so once you have your writing at the top of the paper, you can follow along with me, or you can kind of transform this into your own ideas, but I'm gonna just make some different sections in my paper. So kind of like his head is the sun and I'm creating sun rays out of my paper. That's how I'm gonna think about it. So I'm just gonna create some different sections out of my paper just by doing some lines. Now inside each of these sections, you're going to color them different colors, but you're also going to write some of your dreams for the future. So in some small words, some small handwriting, you're going to just write different dreams that you come up with, and that can be totally different from mine and totally just whatever you want. So I want you to think about the world today and what does our world need to become a better place. Once every section is filled in, you're just going to take a pen and trace over your words. So I wrote, I have a dream, and then some of the things I wrote: that racism will end, people will spread kindness, I have a dream that everyone will be accepted for who they are. I have a dream of world peace, that nobody will be judged for who they choose to love, that there will be no more hunger, that there will be love, that there will be free college education, that there will be acceptance, justice, peace, and freedom of expression. So I want you all to come up with your own dreams and hopes for the future. In every section, you are just going to write those dreams and hopes for the future. It could be whatever you like, so please do not feel like you need to write the same ones as me. Think about your own life, who you are, and what you think is important, and have each section filled in with at least one dream that you have for the future. Once you are all finished tracing your words, you are going to color in the background so the entire thing is filled in with color. You can choose your colors. It can be all different colors, all the same colors. It's up to you. But really show me that you're doing your best work, and I want to see you putting some great thought into this project. I'm going to give you a week and a half to do this, so you have an extra half of a week to finish this. This will be due next Friday. So you have the rest of this week and all of next week to finish this project. Please do your best. Really show me that you are trying on this lesson. This is a really important lesson, and I know you guys can create some amazing artworks if you really try your best with this. Good luck, everyone.